Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, Youngmaster3, and it's time to continue the 90s series. So this particular video is going to be my favorite horror films from the year 1992. And keep in mind when I make these like 90s videos in general, like these 90s horror related videos, that this is obviously just my personal opinion. So if there's any of these films that you really dislike or that you're not a big fan of, you just keep in mind this is just my personal opinion. So anyway, this is gonna be, like I said before, the top 10 movies, like horror films from the 1992 year. So yeah, let's begin right away. First up at number 10, we have the criminally underrated slasher film called Dr. Giggles right here, with Larry Drake. Um, and this is a film which it almost feels like this. I mean, it has a 90s feeling to it, but I mean, it might as well have been made in the 80s as well, because I mean, at this point in time, the slashers were really like, they were not really popular anymore because the 80s were just really, really filled with slashers in general. But I thought this was an entertaining film for what it was, because I don't think there is too many hospital related horror films in general. I mean, it's not necessarily that it takes place inside of a hospital, but it's just basically about this crazy doctor who basically wreaks havoc because he has a really like traumatic childhood, and then he just absolutely snaps and gets really crazy. And yeah, the Dr. Giggles character is played by Larry Drake as well. Um, I'm not really sure if I do recognize any of the other actors in this one, but I mean, this is a really entertaining, really interesting kill. It's really funny one-liners from time to time as well. So it has a really nice blend of horror and humor, I would say. And once again, when it comes to some of these slasher films, you always have like characters that you don't like and some characters that you do like. I do really like the score as well, and also in particular that ending song in the end credits. I don't remember who's performing that music or like that song, because I believe that might have been like a cover of an older song. It's that song. I'm not really sure if I can. I mean, I'm gonna butcher it if I like try to sing it, but like "Doctor, Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you." Anyway, that was a terrible singing right there. But anyway, if you do like slasher films and if you do like that 90s atmosphere shoved into your slasher films, go check this one out. This is very entertaining. So yeah, Dr. Giggles, very underrated in my personal opinion. And at number 9, we have a film with Rutger Hauer, and it is the film called Split Second. Some people would probably say, well, this is more of an action film than a horror film, but I mean, it still has horror elements to it. It's basically about Rutger Hauer being this, I think he's supposed to be either like a detective or like a bounty hunter, basically. So he gets into this. This is taking place like in the future of London, you can say, because everything's really run down. It looks really like, I mean, rainy all the time. An amazing type of atmosphere. Once again, it feels like I'm just going to repeat myself over and over again when it comes to some of these films, but the atmosphere is great in this one. This is sort of like a. This one has action, sci-fi, and monster creatures in it. Or it's basically about one particular creature in question, but I'm not gonna spoil that. But great performances all around. Like I said before, great atmosphere. The practical effects are really, really top notch as well. Obviously, there's some characters that you don't care too much about, but then again, I mean, you have Rutger Hauer in your film as the main character, so you can't go wrong with that. So, yeah, Split Second. At number 9. Then at number 8 is another film. Is this really a horror film or not? This, I would say, is definitely a horror comedy, if nothing else. But it is the movie called Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which came out before the famous TV series, which I haven't seen. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what the TV series is all about. With obviously the TV series with Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. Now this one has what's her name? I always confuse her with someone else, but Christy Swanson, I believe. And it has Donald Sutherland, and it has Pee Wee Herman himself, Paul Rubens, and once again Rutger Hauer in this one as well, back to back in the same year. That I didn't think about that before I actually picked this one on number 8. But who else is in this film? Could have sworn it was someone. Yeah, Luke Perry as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is more of a comedy, horror comedy, you could say. Nice blend of that, I would say. Really, really, really screams 90s in general. Interesting premise as well. Don't really know why they didn't decide to stick with Krista Swanson. I used to assume that they just wanted some other actress, or maybe she wasn't available. I've never really understood that, because I think she played her part really, really good in this one. And yeah, so did the rest of the cast as well. I mean, really an amazing cast in general in this one. So yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer at number 8. And then at number 7 we have a film which I would say is probably one of the best, like, evil kid films, or whatever, if you want to call it that, but, or kids attack people. I don't know how to, like, describe the the genre itself, but so at number 7 we have the film called Mikey. And yeah, like you probably have already understood, the evil kid is called Mikey. And this is not really a big spoiler, because you really know from the get-go that this kid is no good, or like bad news, basically. So it's basically about this kid called Mikey. He gets adopted into this new family because his previous family he took care of, so to say, and yeah, they're nowhere to be found, and they are pretty much gone. I don't know if I can even say that he took care of them like that, but anyway, this is a film which I thought was really interesting, because some of the death scenes were really interesting and fascinating to me. And it's all the tense moments as to you're really wondering what's going to happen next, and how is this kid gonna cover up for his crimes and all of that. So you never really know what's going to happen next, and that's the reason why I really appreciated this film. And I mean, some people will have some troubles with some of these films when you have like an evil kid in your film, because sometimes they can turn out to be obnoxious. I had a really bad experience with a film called what's it called again? Better Watch Out, I believe, from, was it like 2017 or 16 or something? There was like a evil kid in like a Christmas film or whatever. That kid was really annoying, to the point that he absolutely just destroyed the entire like movie experience for me for that film. But in this one, it really works well, because he's more like charmingly evil, if that's even a word, or if that's even like a description of the character himself. But yeah, really entertaining. If you do like those type of films in general, go check this one out. Mikey. Let's see, yeah, Mikey at number 7. And at number 6 we have a film which I've always defended. I'm gonna stick to this opinion till the day I die. This is, I would say, on par with the first one, because this is a sequel, and it is the film called Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. I've been talking about these films to death in my channel in general, like with the Children of the Corn franchise. But I've always thought that this is one of the very best in the entire series, along with the first one. Sometimes I do prefer this one over the first one. It kind of depends on what type of mood I'm in. I do like some of these sequels. I mean, I do like most of these films in this series. Part 5, not so much, and Part 7 was kind of forgettable. After that, they really went off the rails and really, yeah, they became really bad after that. But this one is basically like a continuation of the first one, almost like right after the ending of the first one, to be fair, because the surviving kids from this from the movie's first incidents and whatnot, they get shoved into this other town called Hemmingford, which is like the neighboring like town or whatever to Gatlin, and so everyone thinks it's like all is fair and well. Everything is good between all of the like kids and the adults at this point. But then obviously the one of the kids, or like the surviving kids, gets possessed by he who walks behind the rose. So he sort of becomes this new Isaac in a way, and he's played by not Michael. He's played by Ryan Bowman, and I think is it Ryan Bowman? I'm just completely wrong. You're saying the absolute. I'm just having brain damage right now. Yeah, of course, they don't even mention his name in the back. Right, yeah, Ryan Bowman, sorry. So Ryan Bowman plays Micah, who is like this pretty much like new Isaac in a way. And he does an amazing job in this one. I've actually talked a little bit with Ryan online on Facebook and whatnot, and he seems to be a really nice and cool guy in general, sharing like memories from the past in general from time to time. So maybe that's why I like this film. I'm kind of biased about that. But I mean, in all seriousness, though, this is a really cool film. This has another alternate cut as well, like an American cut, I believe, which I've never seen before, which includes other scenes that were like missing from this particular version. So I'm really curious to see what that version is all about eventually. Most of the other actors are good. not amazing, but really, really entertaining in general, or like good performances and whatnot. The score to this film is amazing. It almost feels like this movie doesn't really deserve the score, because that's how great the score for this film really is. Listen to it lots and lots of times. Really harmonic and really creepy from time to time, depending on what type of scene you're looking at. So yeah, if you do like the first one, check this one out as well. It's probably as good, if not even better than the first one, in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's just what I think about it. So yeah, Children of the Corn 2, The Final Sacrifice. We all know what happened with that. At number 6, yeah. And at number 5, we have the Peter Jackson film called Brain Dead, which obviously is probably most more known as the under the title Dead Alive. Now, at this point, when the first time I watched this film, this was the most bloody and gory film that I've ever seen. And if you just look at the front cover right there, that actually does happen in the film. But it's basically about this guy called Lionel, and there's this film is so incredibly weird to like describe to someone else, because it's really all over the place and it's really over the top, but it's very charming, and you can tell that they really put a lot of effort into making this film, especially for like a lower budget film. Personally, I do prefer Bad Taste over this one, but this one is still one of the best films that he's directed. Obviously, he directed the Lord of the Rings films, which obviously is like in a class of their own, but I do like some of these older, like charming splatter films that he made before. So yeah, Brain Dead, also known as Dead Alive, at number 5. Yeah. And at number 4, we have a film which I've sort of gone back and forth with a little bit from time to time. The first time I saw this film, I did not like it one bit at all. I thought it was kind of stupid and kind of like what is going on in this film. But it is the film called Alien 3. Obviously not as good as the original one, or the sequel Aliens, which I would probably say is the best one in the entire series. At this point, I'm just kind of tired of this series in general. I mean, I've seen Resurrection. Was it Resurrection? Resurrected? I'm not sure. I've seen Part 4, and I've seen Alien versus Predator, the first one, and I have seen the Prometheus one. After Prometheus, I just kind of really lost hope in this entire franchise. I just felt like it was just really milking this franchise in general. But this one has really grown on me. I really like the cast, I really like the atmosphere, and really, I mean, the practical effects in some of these older Alien films are just really top notch and just glorious, and they've have not aged poorly at all. They have really aged well, aged like fine wine. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah, if you have seen the previous 2, go check this one out as well. It is really entertaining. I mean, if you do watch this film for the first time and you don't like it, go ahead and revisit it in like a year or so after you watched it for the first time, and you might enjoy it more the second time around. So at least that's what happened with me when I watched this film for like second, third time in a row. So yeah, Alien 3 at number 4. And at number 3, we have the criminally underrated, in my personal opinion, Pet Sematary 2 with Edward Furlong. And Clancy Brown is just really over the top in this one as well. And you also have Anthony Edwards, who is barely even recognizable with like his beard. Obviously, he's probably most famous for playing Goose in the original Top Gun film. I was very surprised to find out the first time around when I saw this film that this was directed by the same director of the first one, because they really feel like completely different type of styles, if you get what I mean. It's just a different type of vibe to this one. I mean, obviously the 90s, this has the 90s vibe to it, and the other one has the 80s vibe to it, so that was a stupid thing, you already know that. But it's basically about Edward Furlong and his dad. They are moving into this new town, and his dad, played by Anthony Edwards, is now in a relationship with a new woman, because Edward Furlong's real mother sadly passed away during a freak accident during a movie shoot or something. So she kind of got electrocuted, and she passed away. So that really, like, I mean, Edward Furlong's character in this film has to deal with so many terrible things, like the passing of his mother, and he constantly gets bullied in school as well. And there's some really horrific scenes involving like animals in this one, which I just thought was really, really hard to watch in general. I mean, you have similar things in the first one as well, but this one in particular, I would say. So if you are a little bit squeamish when it comes to that, just be aware of that before watching any of these films, especially the first one. Yeah, in both of these films. Performances are all around really, really good. This feels more violent than the first one as well, so I'm just going to say that. And but overall, this has another type of vibe to it, but I still really enjoy it for what it is. And yeah, go check this one out if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen the first one, go check this one out as well. Highly recommended. One of the most underrated horror sequels of all time, in my personal opinion. So yeah, Pet Sematary 2. And let's see here, then we continue with horror sequels right here. Obviously horror, yeah, this is a horror list, damn it. So at number 2, we have Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2. I could have like gotten a hold of like a copy I had with this one, because that was like an older like Anchor Bay release. This particular release includes the I think this is the theatrical cut, because the other version I had was the director's cut. I do like both cuts, but I do prefer the theatrical cut, which is a little bit more funny in a way. If you've seen this film, you totally get what I mean. I think it was theatrical. Was it? There's one ending which is a little bit more like funny that I prefer over the other one. You probably already know which one I'm referring to, but this is basically like a continuation of part 2, where Ash gets sent back in time, like in the Middle Ages, and he has to adapt to the lifestyle right there, and everyone is afraid of him because of his boomstick. Now, in all honesty, this is way more of an adventure, almost like an adventure action comedy film than a straightforward horror film, even though it has lots and lots of horror elements to it. So, I mean, really amazing one-liners. Bruce Campbell is amazing in this one. And yeah, the dialogue is just really, really fun in every single scene. And yeah, if you've seen the previous 2, go check this one out. Yeah, I can watch this all day long. I never get tired of it, and I've always loved this front cover right here as well. So yeah, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 3. And at number 1, what could possibly be at number 1? This is, in my personal opinion, this is probably one of the very best horror films from the 90s, period. I mean, if you count every single horror film that came out in the 90s, at least the ones that I have seen so far, this is definitely in the top 5 in like the overall like greatest like horror films from the 90s. And it is the movie called Candyman. I have no interest in watching the newer one. I have seen part 2 and 3. 2 was all right. 3 was just really bad, not good at all in my personal opinion. The best thing about part 3 was Tony Todd, but then again, he felt like he just didn't care too much, or didn't have enough faith in that project to begin with. So, but this one is basically about this legend of Candyman, where if you say his name in the mirror 5 times, he comes and gets you. And it's like this really like real creepy like rumor going around. If you do say that, he actually gets you, and he puts like a curse on you, basically, in a way. So this character of Helen and her friend, they do this specific thing in say his name into the mirror, and yeah, all hell breaks loose, basically. And it does take a while before Candyman actually does appear, but I think that just creates more creepiness and more of an atmosphere to it. And once again, the score to this film is really, really great. I believe it who did the score for this film, because I mean, Philip Glass, I believe, is the composer who made the score for this film. Really atmospheric, really, really creepy. Feels like, I mean, almost the soundtrack almost makes this film feel like it was made in the 70s. And I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way or anything like that, but it just has an older feel to it. But so you have Virginia Madsen as the lead character of Helen, great performance. And Tony Todd, I mean, I can't picture anyone else playing Candyman, in all honesty, because he was really born for this role, and I think this is probably the role that he's most remembered as. or like his most well-known role, if you get what I mean. Obviously, he was also in some of those Final Destination films, and he was also in Hatchet 1 and 2, even though in Hatchet 1 he barely has any role at all, but in second one he has a bigger, larger role. But this performance, and I would say this is his very best performance of all time, in my personal opinion. And yeah, such a sad loss when he passed away. I mean, he was sick. I had no idea he was sick, but I mean, if I did look up some of the quite recent like photos, like some of the lost photos of him that they had, and he did not look healthy at all. So I just felt really sad for him, and yeah, huge loss for the horror community, in all honesty. Yeah, really come across like a really, really cool dude in general. So, but if you've never seen Candyman, the original one, go check it out. In my personal opinion, one of the very best horror films from the 90s, and such a criminally underrated film. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this one whenever you talk about the greatest horror films from the 90s, and I think that's a shame. But yeah, Candyman. There's only one. I mean, this is a near perfect film for me. The only bad side of this film is the very ending, which feels like it has like an. I wouldn't necessarily say an extra scene, but I mean that very, very last scene of the film felt a little bit unnecessary. I think they could have cut that down a little bit, but other than that, I think this is almost a perfect film. So yeah, Candyman. So there you have it. That's my top 10 horror movies from the year 1992. So obviously next video, I'm not really sure if the next video is going to be the next year 1993, but we'll see what happens then. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this particular video. If have you seen any of these films? Do you like them or not? Please let me know in the comment section. Like the video if you liked the video, and subscribe to my channel if you do like my content. And yeah, like I said, I usually say this, you should never be forced to subscribe to my channel. Just do that if you really enjoy my content in general, if you want to follow me in general. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this particular video, and see you next time. Bye bye.